monitors, and I think my graphics are as well. It's not outputting on through one of the ports.
I have a monitor that don't find a record the point at different times.
But the monitor works. I switched to one port that's working. Yeah, perfectly fine.
Do we have a tweak going on for this, or the proper label? Because right now I think it says cult.
What does it say? Oh, let's take it out.
This is
First of all, I can hear you. So
are you still on your stream? Can you still hear me? Yes, yes. Test two. I did not.
Gonna
do
restart that intro for everybody.
Gotta restart the intro. Welcome, everybody. This is Rick with Gehenna Gaming. We're playing the Contagion Chronicle by Onyx Path Publishing. Tonight we are going to be playing Mummy, the Cursed. Sorry about that audio snafu.
It was my fault.
Yeah, you just, people can read lips. Anyway, I'm your storyteller, Rick Wheeler. With me tonight, we have regular size mom. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us who you're playing tonight.
I am regular size mom, or Rosie, and I will be playing Eshi, the mummy. Her guild is Alchemist, and she is a judge of the Eater of Shadows, and I'm not going to even attempt to correctly pronounce that. But yeah.
Right on. Next in line, we have one of my Gehenna Gaming co-founders, Marchosius.
Hello, everybody. I'm very excited about this game because I've never played it before. I have watched it, I think, twice. I think there were two. There was one game, one mummy game that you ran for Virtual HorrorCon, and I think there was one that you ran for Onyx PathCon. Both were very, very good. Or were there two on Onyx PathCon?
I think I just ran one.
Really? Maybe I watched it twice.
I did.
It was really very good.
It was very good. I am Mark. You can find me on Twitter at Marcosius with 5s instead of S's. Good luck trying to spell it. This is our very first story for a Saturday weekly Contagion Chronicle Saga. We're starting with Mummy tonight, and every week from now on, we're going to be doing Mummy. We're going to be playing Werewolf.
Geist.
I'm going to Geist. I'm going to be running Demon, which I'm very excited about. We're also going to have Vampire, and of course, it's all going to culminate into one cross splat saga final, which I think I could. Am I allowed to say?
Why not?
I think you just did.
It's our goddamn company.
I mean, okay, so I'm not going to announce it. Don't call this a comeback, and don't call this a official announcement. What I will say is that the final finale of the Contagion Chronicle Saga will take place during Virtual HorrorCon
2021.
Thank you.
VHC? It's not VHC2. It's VHC 2021.
It's Virtual HorrorCon 2021. Stay tuned for some awesome news about Virtual HorrorCon coming up this week. The website's going to be dropping very soon. Very excited about it. I'm Mark. I'm playing Hadith.
Minor detail at the end.
Yeah, I'm a mummy, and I'm playing Hadith, and I'm very excited about the name. I'm very excited about the game.
You can wait for other details about Mark's character as he plays. Last but not least, our dear friend, Mr. Big Dad.
Hi, I'm Big Dad, also known as Ben, also known as Jasper Redding on Twitter. I will be playing Gorlob, the mummy. I am very excited to play this after watching Rick's Virtual HorrorCon game. I've been saying, "What is this England?" for almost a year now.
Same.
Thank you, Nick. I'm very excited, and I cannot pronounce my judge's name either, and I don't remember what their title was.
It's okay. I've got that all written down. So a little bit about Mummy for those that are uninitiated or simply don't know much about the Chronicles of Darkness. Mummy is interesting. They call themselves the Arisen. They are deathless. They come from an empire, strangely not Egypt. There was an empire that spanned the globe before recorded history. They're kind of like, if you watch the Marvel movies, they're like the Asgardians who believe in sorcery and magic at the same time with science. In their case, their empire, they knew was going to one day crumble, so they created the Deathless, who kind of take their place as they went into the Duat, these people who made this ritual, and joined 42 judges of who were kind of like gods in the afterlife. The Arisen serve these gods. There are 42 of them, believe it or not. All of them look completely different, have different things they focus on as far as what justice is, what matters to them. And the Arisen, there might even be several Arisen dedicated to one of these gods. It's not necessarily a one-for-one basis. In this case tonight, we have 3 Arisen who serve 3 different gods, part of 3 different guilds. Arisen are part of different guilds that focus on different things, whether it's geomancy, effigies, amulets, relics, all of them a little different. They are filled with a power called Sekhem. It's a life-giving force that is in everything. The ritual that they underwent, you can kind of see in the Onyx Path game I ran, Onyx Path Virtual Gaming Convention. My players went through that very ritual, becoming Arisen. This game is great, though, because it's a little bit like Quantum Leap. These Arisen primarily exist in the afterlife. They're both living and dead. When the judges decide they have a task for them, they come back. And they may not always be in the same body, but the body that they inhabit changes to the body that is the image of their soul very rapidly. When they awaken, it can be a different place, a different time. You could have one Chronicle mission taking place in 2027. The next one will take place in the year 10,090 AD. And it's not always in great order. What makes Mummy the Cursed really fun, as well, is every time they arise, they pretty much don't have a great memory of who they were, what the last thing they did, or their life in IREM. It takes a little bit of time for them to fully come back into themselves. Within a matter of hours, they remember details of the last descent, who they are. They remember their true name and their purpose given to them by their job, what they were there for. In this case tonight, these Arisen have been awake for a number of months. They remember many of their last descents, a decent chunk of time from their lives in IREM. And I'll get into this setting right now. For my players, is there anything I might be leaving out as far as the world of Mummy the Cursed that would be good to tell people watching?
I would say that.
Oh, I remember one thing. Go ahead.
I would say that I think probably describing maybe each one of our judges might help to set the tone a little bit.
Sure.
For each one of us. I know that, for example, Hadith's judge is Neheb Ka, who is if I am remembering correctly, I think it's the unified judge who is a judge over arrogance?
I am not sure. Actually, with yours, I chose Sekiru.
I was so wrong.
All right, we're kicking Mark off the air. Thank you. Say good night to him. He's fired.
My face is glowing bright red as we speak. So what is the name of my judge?
Sekiru.
Sekiru. Okay, I like the name.
Known as the Balanced Scale, and Sekiru appears as a gigantic, dead Egyptian asp with 6 of its wriggling children crawling in and out of the dead mother's body and speaking in unison. I had a feeling you would really like that one.
I love this one much better than the other, I thought. Thank you.
Now, what is Sekiru's major concern when it comes to justice? Well, Sekiru specializes in punishing those who meddle in the affairs of others. Mind your own goddamn business.
I love this judge.
I knew you would.
This is my judge, like in real life.
Yeah, this is your real life now. Welcome.
Praise set.
Praise set. For regular size mom, her judge is Kaibit, the Eater of Shadows, and it appears as a gigantic 3-headed hound that snorts black smoke tendrils. Now, Kabit's primary focus when it comes to judgment is crimes against humanity. Last but not least, Big Dad's judge, Utu Naseret, the vigorous fire, is seen as a hawk with burning feathers. And their primary focus is those who curse others. We may, in fact, encounter each of these gods during this fantastic game we have ahead of us. But that provides some context to who and what kind of beings brought these three legendary immortals together for a purpose tonight. One other thing I forgot to mention about Mummy the Curse. You start with very little memory. In this game, they're starting with plenty. However, when you start and you arise for the first time, it's the opposite of most games. In Vampire, if you're playing a character who's spanned centuries, you're likely very powerful. Your blood is old. You've had time to work over your vampiric disciplines. In this game, you pretty much start as an antediluvian. If you've played the World of Darkness games before, you start playing this game at the pinnacle of your power. Godlike 7 plagues of Egypt, even elevated above that. The sheer power level of the Arisen as they first awaken is truly horrific. And we may see some of that power tonight. Anyway.
We're going to get into some shit.
Let's tell an Arisen story. Get right into it. Any other questions before we begin? I think we're good. All right. Our
We're
first
like
scene.
scared. We're like scared, quiet little babes just waiting.
Our first scene takes place in the year 1928. You've been in London for about 6 months since you've awakened, overseeing the reclamation of a number of relics from Irem, possibly filled with Sekhem. It is an Arisen's job, apart from doing what the judges bid of you, but preserving the culture of your civilization. Arisen often take these relics, bring them with them into the Duat where they are forever kept. The defiling of one of these relics is a heinous crime. A recent expedition has been shipping a number of these to London, where you have been amassing them, keeping them safe. However, during this awakening, the judges made it known that it was their will for them, for all of you, to stay and deal with another matter that was going to arise. For this reason, they chose 3 Arisen who are legendary in power, even more so than the normal, to assist in a group called the Crucible Initiative, an order who exists to combat the Contagion, a corruption of reality itself. We start our scene on the Orient Express, as these 3 Arisen took a ship, France, and are heading to Bucharest, where an archaeological dig has caused an outbreak of the contagion to occur. See, they've received a telegraph from Hadit's helper, a Sadiq. Kind of like if you play Vampire the Masquerade, this is like a ghoul. This is a servant, a cultist, whose life has been dedicated to the cause of the judges of Irem, and in this case, directly to Hadit. He has been imbued with a fraction of the holy power that these Arisen have within them, and they themselves are practically immortal. They can live very long lives, and even can speak and use some of the powers and utterances the Arisen have within them. He has arrived a week prior and has set up a camp. You arrive on the scene, like I said, on the train, the Orient Express. You are about an hour or 2 away from your destination, where the 3 of you are in a compartment train car wooden on all sides, red velvet floor. A couple of, I don't know what you call the train attendant people, the flight attendants. You know, it's an outdated term. I don't even know it.
Train stewardess?
Train steward, train maitre d'. I don't know.
Yeah, maitre d'.
Train attendant?
Train attendant does come by now and then offering you tea, anything you want to eat, things like that. But the three of you spent some time together, are alone, and I leave you the scene to talk about what's ahead. I will, one other detail, Eshi and Gorlob both have surprisingly decent-sized cults. A number of cultists from when you were awoke that heard your call have joined you on this expedition. They range in skill, but many of them are trained fighters who fought either in World War I or know a thing or two about defense. They've joined you on this train, many of them filling the other compartments of the car, riding in secret to many of the other passengers, but known to you, their masters. And the scene is yours.
They never did quite figure it out, did they? The storage
No, they haven't.
of the tea on the trains, it molds or something.
They don't have much going for them. They hardly have any decent honeyed ales available for us.
Don't even get me started on the type of ale that you have to try to buy in the black market of a train. I hear the last car has better booze than the dining car.
From what I understand, that's the workers' car. Of course they do.
I did receive a telegram. Information that could help us, I'm sure, but where exactly are we going?
You mean other than Bucharest? Bucharest? I don't know how it's pronounced.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I mean, where are we going from here? Time.
Ah,
How many years will it be before trains figure out a way to properly store their tea?
well, I'm going to guess that we're going to be in the past next time.
One should hope.
When times were simpler.
I think we shall awaken next in the far off future when men have realized that walking is not so much fun as flying.
You think the average man will be able to fly in the future?
Yes. Yes, I do. I think they'll get there,
A flight of fancy.
if you will.
And something tells me that the food on said flight will be just as good as the food here on this train.
Well, if not better.
I do worry, though. The deluge that happens time and time again. The cycle of time. The resetting.
Care to
I just hope I'm
elaborate?
I just hope I'm attractive next time.
Oh.
That's all. The reset is so hard.
Oh, you mean the literal physical reset?
Yeah. I mean, this time around, not much to look at. Last time,
At least you're not balding this time. I mean, ugh.
I mean, hey, listen, you have to age with grace, they say, right?
Well, be comforted by the fact that beauty standards change.
It's true. That is true.
As some time passes, there is a knock. Apartment door. There are two windows to each side of this darker oak door, and a hand of whoever's standing directly in the doorway. In the glass puts up almost like a torn and ripped piece of clothing that actually has a runic symbol of the Crucible Initiative on it that you would have recognized.
Well, let him in.
Yeah, Eshe will open the door.
As you open the door, at first looks like 6'3" man in a long beige trench coat and a hat. They walk in, and as the door closes behind them, they pull down the curtains on each side of the window. You will notice that it's gone from dusk to night during your conversation. And as they take off their hat, it is a completely bald and pale woman with very jagged teeth and some facial deformities.
Now this is what I was talking about. Beautiful lady. The name's Hadit. And he stands and grabs her hand or reaches out to have her take his.
Her extremely long, bony fingers take your hand and shake it.
And he delicately pulls her hand towards his face and kisses her fingers oh so delicately.
Vanessa Kensington.
Vanessa, my day has gone much brighter since you walked into the room.
You are the Arisen, heading to Bucharest for the Crucible Initiative, correct?
Yes, we are. Isn't that right? And he sits
Indeed.
back down.
I nod.
I have some information from this group for you. I have been sent to watch and record what happens as I do for our order. I am not to get directly involved, but regardless of the outcome, the Contagion and whatever may happen must be recorded. For only in knowledge can we defeat such a problem. Others may seek to exploit this devastation, but we, in the Crucible, are the scalpel for this disease. And I am more than sure that 3 of your kind will handle this most effectively. So you see, this excavation in Bucharest, this very large mountain, it's an archaeological dig that dug a little too deep. About 4 layers down, when my sources say something very interesting was found. Some sort of battery. Word spread, and I believe people tried to get their hands on this battery. Although it hasn't been confirmed who. But now we suddenly have an outbreak. It's stage 1 for now, but the local village next to the larger city of Bucharest is starting to panic. They have lost over 100 people down in this, I guess you could call it a mine. Some have gone insane, some have never come back.
So quickly, and you say an outbreak, gonorrhea or syphilis, I presume.
Oh no. The contagion is a violation of reality itself. as I'm sure some of you must know. It warps the very soul. It warps reality. There is a larger being that we have come to know as the God Machine. Keeps everything the way it is. It keeps reality static. It hates beings like us. Vampires. Arisen. Because we're not of this world. But here we are trying to protect it anyway. Because if it goes down, we go down. The laws of nature become too chaotic. One can't rule the world if it's ashes and bone.
It's a problem that affects us all, and it's something that weighs heavy on all of our minds, that my associates would agree. I'm fascinated with how it doesn't just affect persons, but also time itself.
Oh, yes. In fact, you and your group might be the only thing it doesn't affect, being that you're neither living or dead. It affects everything else we've seen.
So you've seen that it affects not only humans, but kindred and Garu and
And the
Everything.
Prometheans.
I know not many myself, but I'm sure your experience is far outweigh mine, O deathless one. I will say the people who await you, Chief Engineer Jamal, who's in charge digging these tunnels. The lead archaeologist's name is Priya. There's a young man, a translator, named Aaron. They await you at the camp that I believe one of your people has set up. I wouldn't put too much faith in those, the city itself. It's very likely that seeing you would drive them further into madness if they were to discern what you.
Yeah, the cloak that we wear, so to speak, we much like your kind hide in plain sight. Only I wish I could show you the sun. It's gorgeous, and perhaps one day you would be able to look at it the way that I can without burning into ashes yourself. And hopefully one day the limitations of your kind are broken away so that you can truly be free. For you are truly beautiful creatures. In my mind, or minds of all those that I've inhabited, the end point that you begin is the birthplace of all time.
You flatter me, sir.
Oh, stop it.
Is there anything else you may wish to know about your destination?
Are there any operating parameters for us to follow? Or is it contain the contamination at all costs?
That. We don't care if you have to bring the whole mountain down, the whole region down. This cannot spread. We exist so that these things do not spread.
Oh, that brings me back.
I'm sure it does. Or forward. One can never tell. I hear so many things.
On the point of limitations, getting in to Bucharest has been interesting over the past few years. But getting out has its own limitations. I don't think me or my associates want to make much of a noise coming in. Leaving, I hope not to bring hell out of Bucharest. But I'd like to get through those borders with very little trouble. Perhaps, maybe, you can provide a kind of netting to catch us, should we need it.
If you say the word, I will be around to hear it.
And what word is that, Vanessa?
You tell me.
Hmm.
What's your safe word, Handsome?
I think my safe word is Turkish delight.
Oh, and a delight it would be.
It's a date. But first business,
Indeed.
Bucharest. My associates may have some questions. Ashe?
Can you please go over the names and stations of the 3 individuals you mentioned? I caught Priya and Aaron, but I believe
Iran
that
is a
was the third.
translator, a young man who speaks many languages. Priya is the lead archaeologist and the chief engineer, whose name the storyteller should remember, is Jamal.
It's not Bill Brasky.
It's not Bill Brasky.
Bill Brasky.
A 6'4" land monster who could palm a medicine ball. Sorry.
If they have not been taken over by this pestilence, they may be worth questioning.
You
Is
had
anybody- Please.
No, go on.
No, I have talked way too much.
You said that this contagion warps reality itself, but has there been any common thread noticed? Not, you may not have been able to communicate overly much with the
There
affected.
are a number of people, my people, not like me, but my people, who have been on site shooting anything that comes out of the cave.
Anything, not anyone.
Anything. So far, they've been like people, but they are covered from head to toe in a pitch black substance. And not long after they die, we Molotov cocktail the opening.
That's a way.
Sounds like an excellent drink.
Burning black pitch.
That's
The
excellent.
contents of the cocktail, I believe.
Although that is curious. What if one were to mix the black sludge with the Molotov cocktail? Now that would be a good drink.
It sounds like an excellent opportunity for us.
Sounds like a terrible idea, but one I would record for posterity because that is my job.
Wait, do you have to record everything we do?
Not everything.
Ah,
What's your Turkish delight? I just.
Now you say shooting at anything.
Yes.
What are we working with here? What are they shooting with?
Mostly M1 grants.
Okay.
Bolt action. But we have many shooters. We're running out of time with the local authorities. Our cover story is starting to wear thin. If the people of Bucharest and their military get involved and go in, we will not be able to stop the spread of this without dire consequences. to the population.
You understand, with 3 arisen, there may be a great deal of collateral damage regardless. Are you prepared for an in-depth cover-up should it be required?
Yes,
Great point.
it's a mountain. Mountains can be volcanic.
Yes, they can. And I'll remind you that cities can also be destroyed.
They can. And to preserve reality, not only just our way of life and our control from the shadows, from the day, from nature, the lupines, the spirit world, all of those who make up our order have something to lose if we fail. Whether you care about the mortals or not. This is the world we live in. It will become a hellscape if this gets out. This is stage 1. Stage 2, I've only heard about. Outbreaks in countries that plagues had to be invented as a narrative just to cover up the mass death.
So what you're saying is that if we do nothing with this coming, call it an epidemic, if we do nothing and we don't act and we don't take the necessary actions to help protect everything and everyone, it will get worse. And everybody will get sick.
Well, I doubt your judges send you on these things for field trips.
Sometimes they do. Those are fun. Oftentimes cut short for important missions like this.
I see.
I have no further questions.
I am satisfied.
Neither do I.
Then I will leave you. I'm sure there's much to discuss. We're only half an hour away. She takes her hat, puts it back on her head, and has the appearance of a very tall, nondescript man. She exits the compartment.
It's so cool that they could do that.
It's pretty cool.
I'm afraid here.
Why?
The destruction of a mountain and the destruction of a city was mentioned. Of course, I mentioned the destruction of a city. But this is not going to be so clean, I don't think.
No, reality is being torn. We are being sent to correct the issue, to rain judgment down upon those that have discarded the status quo. There will be nothing clean about this. Hopefully, all we can make it is swift.
And that we shall.
I think she's recording, but we should take a mental note. We should all take a mental note on how this waving of a butterfly wing perhaps may affect everything down the road.
Perhaps we should call it the butterfly effect.
No. That's a horrible. No, it's a horrible term.
Terrible.
Horrible term.
What's wrong with you?
Call it the flappening. No?
I like it.
I believe it needs work.
Okay. All right.
You
well,
suggested the butterfly effect. What would you know?
I thought it had a nice ring to it.
okay.
A
We
butterfly affects anything?
The flapping of a wing. It's delicate.
the wind that comes off a butterfly. It's like there's like nothing.
It's so insignificant.
Let's workshop this on the train ride back.
Yes. Assuming there is a train ride back, we may not physically leave Bucharest.
Yes, we may have to take Ra's boat across the sky and whisper our secrets to Nuit. Egyptian mythology.
Ra in the sky with diamonds.
Cuckoo, cuckoo.
Ben is the walrus.
Ben is the walrus.
I'll kill you. I will drive to Connecticut and kill you.
Ugh.
The train begins to slow, and you arrive at the station. Your cultists very quickly gather their bags, any of your things, and begin to embark. As you get off the train, you do spot Adit's man, Sumar,
Sumar.
who waits with you with a clipboard in hand.
Sumar, do you see
Sir.
this? Do you see what's happening behind me?
With the train?
No, there's like tens of people helping them. And you're but one man. You've got
You
the
want-
power of 10, my friend.
I do? I mean, I always felt that this is my heart, that Sumar is very powerful.
I think you're going to go places, Sumar. And with my help, you could be the best.
This I believe.
I do too.
Keep it
However, I do have a problem.
What is this problem?
So, about the telegram.
Yes. Was it discovered?
No, God, no.
I used your language of Irem.
Yeah, so here's the deal. I used it as a coaster on the train. And I
You are
spilled-
displeased with Sumar.
No. I'm not. I'm displeased. I'm displeased with Hadith. Sumar should be displeased with Hadith.
There could
Don't-
never be such a thing.
Don't get mad because I'll destroy you. But I destroyed the telegram. So I need you to tell me everything.
Of course. That is, I live to tell you everything.
Okay.
Cannot
but
stay
we-
mad at you.
No, you're a beautiful boy, and I want to I want to make sure that I give you positive reinforcement. So we have to be careful on how we talk, though. So maybe if you talk in code, that'll help, or I can grab my associates. We can go someplace a little more private, and we can kind of do a little, tete-a-tete, so to speak.
We can speak the language of our people.
Exactly. But where do you suggest? 'Cause I'm new here. I've never been
This
to
way.
Bucharest.
This way. Bring the two other ones, yes?
Wiggling my fingers at both of you to come
He
hither.
can't mean us, can he?
I suppose this is a come hither gesture.
Why doesn't he just come to us?
It's like a butterfly wing.
Fluttering.
Well, butterfly wing means nothing, so he clearly wants to come to us.
I she sort of glances at her cultists as they're piling off the train, and she sort of gestures with her full hand to make clear her indication that she's heading over that way to her compatriot Hadith, and she's gonna let I forget Ben's
Sumar?
character's name.
Sumar?
Ben's character name is
Orlob.
Gorlob.
Or
Gorlob.
how could I forget?
Rolls off the tongue.
Gorlob. Great name.
Orlob, to do what he will.
And what
as
I
you-
will
His-
is the nearest cultist I summon. You are in charge of the rest. I have matters to attend to.
a London fellow by the name of Tim Meadows. He is the head cultist, or
Excellent.
Gorlob. What should I tell all these other the other cultists we're supposed to be doing, man?
Literally, whatever you deem best.
Hell yeah.
Tim?
We're going to go get a
Tim?
drink, and then when you need us, we're there.
All right.
Sounds good, baby. And he fucks off right to the bar.
Where did you find these people?
I woke up and they were there. Where did you find yours?
She glances at them. They're a little more
Woolsworth?
dour.
They're very serious.
They're very serious people.
They ironed their pants before they departed.
Yes, no creases.
Not one.
Oh, yeah. Well, they were there when I woke up, but they seem fine.
I got.
Delilah Crane
Mortality.
is so close to you, she practically is your shadow.
You can back up a little bit. I'm filling my own shoes.
Yes, ma'am.
She didn't move.
I'm going to step away from Delilah Crane to give her like a little, yeah, that's better. All right.
So, Hadid, you follow Sumar. Everyone kind of, the other guys go up to the bar. Your cultists keep you in eyesight. They pretty much form a circle or guard patrol around the tent where you are literally going to follow Hadid into.
Hadi, this is everybody. Everybody, this is Hadi. I'm Hadi. This is Sumar. Forgot my name for a second. Multiple bodies. What
I mean,
are you
it
gonna
happens to us, right?
say? Sumar is good. He's really good. Like, I know you guys got like 10, 11, like 20 different people following you or whatever. I found Sumar like kind of outside on the street and he was wandering around, didn't really know where
You
to
do
go.
not have to tell the woeful tale of Sumar, but Sumar is practically like 10 of them.
He's definitely like 10 of them. He's like 10 of your people. So we're totally equal here. Let's go to a private area where we can, Sumar's going to give us the whole rundown here. Definitely not embarrassed that I only have one.
Did you not put points into cult?
Nope.
Like Haven, you woke up in a pauper's grave or something, man.
Did you wake up in the British Museum?
It was a sewer, technically. Not a sewer, not a still used sewer. It was an old sewage pipe that was no longer in service.
Well, perhaps this time you will properly instruct your man, worthy as he is, to grow your following. So the next time you wake, you have others of equal worth as himself.
Ah, I can't do that. He'd get jealous.
The fateful day in the sewer was the best day of Sumar's life.
Tamar, I want to ask why you were in the sewer, but I really don't want to know the answer.
Life has been very hard for Sumar.
Tamar, would you
Tamar
like
is
to
a
join my
survivor.
cults? They're at
could
the
not.
bar right now.
No.
No, Sumar must provide that information.
Sumar lives
To
to
us.
serve.
Yeah, Sumar, work first, and then you can go have a drink.
Only one? This is why you can't keep people loyal to you, Hadid.
Last time he was drunk, he killed about 4 people.
Sumar?
Sumar does anything it takes to survive and serve the Hadid.
Bravo, Sumar.
Told you, he's like 10 people.
Like 10. So the ladies say.
Bravo. What did you need to tell us?
Yes, Sumar, please, your clipboard, the information, the
Yes.
telegram that I lost, broke.
The telegram that you had broken.
The clay tablet telegram is a.
The young translator, Aaron, spoke to a number of the migrant diggers who had gone into the tunnel. Since then, he has not been the same. We do not believe he was infected with the problem. I want to say it too loud. But he is not right. He is not well. Something had changed his mind. I don't mean, I mean literally. His mind is not the same. After speaking with Ria, the lead archaeologist, they were researching and trying to find some artifacts of this Bucharest civilization and the one that came before it. They came onto the fourth layer, this dig, the fourth level down, a large antechamber with a very large device, roughly 500 meters in width and 600 meters in height. They say it looked like a gigantic black egg of some kind. Shortly after this, reports from their chief engineer Jamal had mentioned a number of strange people that no one can seem to remember, as if their mere presence caused these people to forget what they looked like. But they do recall 3 or 4 robed individuals walking directly into the mine. And since then, no one has been able to get past the second level. There's some kind of barrier, mystical in nature. I do not believe it is some of your kind. I believe it is some others looking to take advantage of whatever it is these people have found.
Are we talking mortals here, Sumar?
If Sumar were to guess, based on the books I have been given in Lent from the great Hadith, they might be of the Magi kind.
Troublesome.
But they have not come out. No one who goes in there comes out the same, if at all. There have been hundreds missing in the city.
Have you seen anybody that, like, what they look like if they did come out?
I think Aaron was the closest one who did, and he is in a medical chamber a few houses down.
The translator.
The others are covered in a black substance. They are shot and they are killed. They are no longer men and women.
They're killed
They are killed.
because they are no longer men and women.
They are
Because-
something else. They are not right.
Oof.
I believe our contact on the train mentioned the somethings coming out were covered in a black pitch-like substance, were shot, and then burned once they were
Many shots.
presumably dead.
Many shots. To fell one.
Sumar, you haven't been there, right?
Sumar is a survivor.
Yeah, you're too smart
Work
for that.
smarter.
Tomorrow, are you sure you want to join my cult?
My loyalty is only to the great legendary immortal Hadith and the
Yeah,
god he serves, we serve. You have a
Damn if I don't respect you, Sumar.
Great and powerful Hadith. Thank you, Sumar. So you said that Aran is in the hospital,
yes.
and the archaeologist, I think Priya was her name. What's the status on her?
Taken away.
By who?
By her people.
Ah, her people. Okay.
She's put on a train. She's gone.
What?
If
Oh,
she
no.
is infected,
She was not infected. But she bears great knowledge of what has transpired here.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Out of the corner, familiar face arrives. It's Victoria Kensington, the woman from the train.
oh, I'm
Yes,
sorry, I thought
I
her
called
name
her
was
Vanessa.
Oh.
That's my fault. I called her Vanessa.
Do you
Victoria.
Hadid, you have a runner.
No.
Oh.
My daughter's name is Victoria. Wink.
You have a runner.
Other than Priya?
Just Priya, right? He looks over at Sumar. As far as I know, she is the only one who has left this with knowledge of what has happened.
Yes, we definitely have a runner. I don't trust that she did not. If she is the lead archaeologist, that means that when they broke into a specific level that was a threshold, something important, whatever they found, she would make sure that she would be the first person to be in there. That's part of the deal here.
I'm not so sure of that. There was a journeyman in first to test for defenses.
If it's appeared to be a simple archaeological dig at first, I mean, she surely would have. I mean, we have descriptions of the egg. I'm sure she probably, at the very least, would want to look at something like that. No.
Fair.
I would agree that she knows more than she should and will likely tell many.
Or cough on someone.
Yes, she could, even if she does not appear to bear the contagion.
Mm.
It is a risk we cannot take.
My people, Victoria speaks up, are all over that train all the time. Accidents happen. Trains derail every. Say the word, and I will send.
We cannot even bear a corona of this virus to get away. Go for it.
Yeah,
And
Eshe looks at you and just goes, Turkish delight.
Ooh.
It will be done.
Yes, we must stop this super spreader from unknowingly spreading this disease without a mask or any care for protection of other people.
The selfish prick.
She probably voted for.
A raven flies into the tent, lands on this woman, and she sends it out. The train will be derailed 2 cities from here. There will be no survivors. Focus on this crypt, this dig. These are things my people can handle. We cannot handle what is down there. Be the scalpel for our order.
And just like that, it shall be done.
Looks like we've got to. Looks like we've got an egg hunt ahead of us. I say, and you could disagree with me and find a better plan. Tell me what you think about this. We go down to the hospital, or at the very least have my very beautiful boy, Sumar, go over to the hospital and at a distance get information about the translator, whom I'm like Aran, to report back here while we are descending and seeing what the hell is going on with these eggs.
I believe it was just one egg, one very large egg.
Singular.
Singular egg. Let's get that egg and
Would it
see
not
what's
be
going
better
on.
for us to talk to Iran first before descending in?
I would agree,
Not
especially.
that I fear anything, but
Well, we have nothing to fear, especially if Victoria is correct and those of our kind are the only ones who might be unaffected by this contagion. So, if you care so deeply for your Sumar, indeed you should wish to speak to Aaron yourself.
You pull on my heartstrings. That's a better plan. Samar, I'm sorry for suggesting that I would ever put you in danger.
I live or I die for the Hadith.
You're my boy, Samar. You're my boy. Does he have like a little fez?
He
on?
does.
Yes.
So red.
Yes. Aziz, light! Right? Like he's like a little boy's.
He leads you several streets over to a temporary medical building that has been set up for the dig site by the locals. You see a number of, typical, not emergency room, but urgent care kind of folks, cuts, scrapes, bruises, that kind of thing. They lead you to a ward upstairs where Roan is handcuffed, hands and feet, to a bed.
Handcuffed.
Handcuffed.
What does his face look like?
You walking into the room to see him?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm walking. Yeah, we're walking right in.
As you approach Aaron, you notice a number of lacerations on his face. He looks at you and he begins to scream, as if he can see through the veil of what you actually are. He is experiencing a terror condition that is brought upon by those who see Arisen for what they actually are. Much like people who see the Guru. It's called Zabarsis. I'll make a roll for him to see if he can keep his composure. But he should not be able to see things like this. He gets 2 successes. He is trying to find the nearest weapon at hand, but he can't. He's chained down. The force of which he's fighting against his restraints is cutting into his arms and legs. And as he screams, his tongue has been cut out. The medical records at the foot of his bed indicate this was self-inflicted.
I'm going to walk over to Adan and put my hand on his chest and look at him directly in the eyes.
He is terrified.
Shh.
It's not working. Screaming. There's blood pouring down his arms and legs as he is fighting so hard against the handcuffs. They are lacerating into his flesh.
My guild affinity, Fated Soul. This healing or diagnosis mentioned, do I think it would be helpful in this situation? Or does that normally deal with more like earthly things?
Well, I don't know. He cut out his own tongue.
Oh, he did that.
Yeah, that was self-inflicted. It looks like he took a bottle, smashed it, and then raked it over his face as he was trying to cut his tongue out.
Can I use because he's right now he's like in the throes of what I would call a baby fit, honestly, if we're really going to be honest here.
I mean, it's supernatural terror, but sure, he's having a hissy
Okay.
fit. Yeah, he's being
Yeah,
a
he's
big
a little-
baby about you being this immortal.
Come on, like, pull it together. Can I use Serpent's Tongue?
By all means.
And I'd like to impress upon him that though we are frightening to him, and though he may feel either hate or fear, in fact, this is a divine fear, and any amount of spiritual thought that he might have in his head, we are essentially God reaching out to him and blessing him with our presence, kind of like the scariest parts of the biblically accurate Bible. And I will say with my serpent's tongue, if this is a thing, be not afraid.
Why don't you give me a roll?
And what role would that be,
As well.
storyteller?
Let's find out. Well, you are very manipulative. Give me a manipulation. And empathy. And you can
Okay.
add, you have the power in front of you for,
Yes, I'm seeing serpent's tongue in front of me right now.
you describe to our viewers what you do with that power.
So when the serpent's tongue improves a character's impression of her during a social maneuvering, she gains the informed condition regarding that character. So is there two things happening here? If I'm interpreting all of this correctly, is that I'm getting an understanding of the current condition of Adan, and I'm also impressing a new interpretation of that condition to calm him down.
Yeah, you're making it seem like you understand.
Yes.
And you're divine.
Yeah. I know you're afraid, but be not afraid.
Right.
We're frightening, but hey, what can we do?
Make your roll.
All right. Successes are 8.
And up.
Unforgiving system. All right. 2 successes.
2 is more than enough. 1 is enough.
Phew.
You got 2. You get that effect. And a bonus. So he calms down. His wounds begin to heal.
From Ashe? Sorry, how do you say your character's name?
Eshe.
From Eshe's effect?
No.
I don't think so. He didn't make me roll for it.
His
Dude.
tongue comes back.
Did either of you two do this one?
Mm-mm.
No.
The gashes on his face fill in. And he can speak.
I don't like this.
Oh, Eshe isn't sure she really wants to hear what he says.
Oh, we absolutely want to hear what he says.
Okay.
What are you?
Oh. We are the extension of the One. We are alive.
The machine. You speak for the machine?
We speak for the judges of Duat.
They will serve the machine. And he breaks his handcuffs and
fuck.
grabs Hadit by the throat, breaking his restraints on his arms and legs, and lifts you to the ceiling as he begins to try and crush your larynx.
I'm gonna grab his arm and I'm gonna try to squeeze his arm really tightly to try to get him off of me.
Yeah, give me a strength and brawl. And keep in mind, you have a number of things at your disposal. Not only yourself, but the people in the room with you.
Yeah, I'm If you get to me, I have a thing.
Each of you can roll your initiative, which
Is it just one die?
in this wonderful game is a little different. So let me pull up my lovely little cheat sheet, storyteller thing.
We're used to regular World of Darkness, not Chronicles.
It's true.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen at home, we are used to regular World of Darkness. However, Chronicles is a ton of fun. Check it out.
You can play as mummies.
Play as Risen, which is
Play as mummies.
totally dope.
What else do I need to say?
Okay, cool. I got my SD screen here. I think it's like Dex and okay,
Dex
Dex
composure.
and Composure. Yep.
Yeah.
So please.
It's on the bottom of the sheet, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, the sheets are great for that.
So I want to double
Whoa.
check. We roll one die and then add, or is it just the straight modifier?
I think you roll.
Your dexterity and composure.
Yeah, dexterity and composure.
Oh, I rolled. That's my dice pool.
Yeah.
Bundly.
I thought you rolled a d10 and then added the modifier to it.
I'm not alone in my confusion.
Well, we're doing it this way because this is what we think is correct, I suppose.
So what am I rolling then?
Your dex and composure.
That becomes your dice pool. So
Right.
Yep.
my
And am I just counting my successes or what?
Right.
Yep. No modifiers.
one.
Hadid? 2.
Oh,
Sumar,
yeah.
Sumar got 1. Now I will roll for this thing. I got 4.
So that 2 was on that initiative roll.
Yeah.
I also rolled the strength and brawl.
Okay. What are you going to do with your strength and brawl? Because we'll take what you guys are going to do, and then we'll fluidly describe the scene as it happens.
It's a reaction. I'm grabbed by the throat and I'm held up in the air. I'm gonna grab like the fingers and try to break a finger or two.
Okay. What? So Ben and Rosie, you tied with Sumar. Do you either of you want to give the other the go ahead, or are you going to flip for it?
Rosie can go first.
What a gentleman.
I would like to utilize Grip of Death, my affinity that I'm very excited about. If it gets to me, he might not be alive by then. We'll see.
All right, Grip of Death. Gorlob.
Gorlob will strike this man after spending a pillar point to enhance his own strength.
Lordy. So your strength would probably be,
I think an 8.
yeah, at least a 7.
Oh, yeah, 7.
Yeah,
I was looking at pillars per turn.
yeah. All right, and last but not least, Sumar intends to run across the room with a brandished knife, screaming, trying to stab this man to save his master. Yeah.
Sumar.
You're my boy, Blue.
The thing holding Hadid, however, is holding you by your larynx. You begin to start breaking his fingers. It's working. You were breaking them apart. He begins chanting that you will lead us to the machine, whether you like it or not. And a black tendril from his stomach jettisons out of his mouth, out of his nostrils, like a fluid stream of eels, and grabs you by the face. You break his fingers. His grip loosens. His hand drops. You're still being held up by these things that have now wrapped around your head. At this point, Eshi, you run up to him. You use the grip of death. Tell me what's happening.
So Eshe's going to run up and it doesn't specify where the mummy would have to grab, but the mummy's grasp is like death itself, pitiless and inescapable. He gains the following powers. The one I'm interested in a couple of them. Primarily, he's going to shut up now. Victims the Arisen seizes with this grapple are mystically silenced, preventing all vocalization. And if I was knocked down, I would get up, which is cool. Add +2 to all rolls made for the Arisen to grapple opponents. This increases to a bonus the mummy's shoot rating while in dark. We're not in darkness. But we are in a location associated with death. We're in a hospital.
And it's night.
Oh, it is night. So yeah.
Lights
And
are
he's-
very breakable.
So yeah. So assuming I can grab him by the back of his neck.
You do. And as you
going to do
silence
that.
him, the tendrils drop off of Hadit as if they were powered by his words and flap lifelessly against the front of his chest. Hadit, you fall to the ground. Obviously, very powerful. You're likely just going to stand up. Eshe, what else are you doing? You're able to grapple him as well.
Yeah, I am going to I've got him by the back of the neck, but I'm also going to wrap my other arm around him to sort of hold him to me because I'm
Mhm.
probably one of the more immovable objects in the room. And grapple him to the floor if possible. If not, then back to the bed.
All right. You grapple him down to the floor. Gorlab, are you striking him while he is being held?
Absolutely.
Tell me how it goes.
Probably very well. Punching straight into the torso. Trying to hit the spine if I can.
You punch his torso, your fist going right through the skin and muscle of his abdomen, and you shatter the back of his spine. You stop when you feel your fellow Arisen because her own power and fortitude is so strong that as you pinch his spine against her unnatural form, it's as if you've trapped his spine between a boulder and it breaks into dust. He falls almost lifeless in your arms, and that black thing sprouts to life, trying to find its way out of its body.
Can I grab that?
Yes.
Oh, Sumar still has an action.
Yes, so Sumar at this point
don't
is
forget him.
not feeling super like you guys. But he has been endowed with the powers of Hadit.
10 men.
Of 10 men.
He's like 10 men. I believe in him.
He might actually use some affinity powers.
So just a point of order here. The black sludge is wriggling around. Adan is, you said, fell lifeless?
Yes.
Oh, his spine is gone.
Yep, because his spine is gone. I just want to make sure that I get the... Okay.
Yeah, he just tries to slash at the black substance with his knife, cutting some of the tendrils clean off, as if his knife itself was not only flawlessly, supernaturally sharp, but denser.
I'd like to... How many times can you use an utterance?
Depends on how many pillars points you have.
My friend,
Yeah.
this is a one-shot, and you guys are double stuffed Oreos full of Seckham. So whatever you want.
I'd like to grab Adon and pull him off of my good buddy Gorlab, roll him onto the ground.
It's not on me. He's on
Good buddy, Eshe.
Esh.
Oh, I'm sorry, my good buddy Eshe,
Mm.
and roll him off of Eshe, and I'd like to use Awaken the Dead, my tier 1,
Okay.
because I want to pull a memory out of Adon now that he is dead,
Okay.
out of his skull. I'd like to do it in a very specific way, though, if that's okay.
Tell me how you do it. Your game.
This is something that I found. It's a little weird, guys, and I apologize, but
Content warning, this is a horror game. Should have said at the beginning. This is going to get fucked up.
yeah, I'm in this, so it's like
Let it rip, man.
I found that this is the best method. Otherwise, there's a lot of noise. You start getting memories of organs and stuff like that. So it's really only one organ that I'm looking for the memory of. And so I place my hand on his head and I delicately cradle it in my arm like a baby. And I take my finger and I push it into his nose as far up as possible to break through into his brain.
Like the
Much like
mummification process.
the mummification process. And I'm digging for gold into his skull. My hand, if it can, push deep into his nostril, up inside of his skull. I want to cradle my entire hand into the middle of his brain matter and squeeze it tightly.
You do that. Your hand almost also shapes to the cavity, filling its way in, pushing his bone apart as if it was also made of flexible material. Your hand touches his brain matter, and the very power of the Sekhem flowing through your body as it touches the brain matter begins to electrically charge every one of those neurons of the gray matter in his brain. Dozens of memories flip through as you touch and spread your fingers through what was once his brain, as if you were flipping through a Rolodex of memories until you find the one you want.
I want the moment which Adon ceased to exist and whatever this thing has taken over. He obviously is speaking from Legion, and that Legion has infected him. And I want to catch that moment that the flip happened and how he first encountered this.
You find it with ease. This is something you may have even done many times in your past life. Even if you hadn't, the power within you tells you everything you need to know and everything you need to do. And that memory absorbs into your skin. You feel it in your own mind's eye as your eyes fill with golden light as the power of the Sekhem fuses that memory in your mind. You see the world unfold. You're no longer in the hospital. You're viewing the moments of Aaron's final time as himself. About a week ago. You're in deep into the earth. You can feel it. As if you're standing like an astral projection outside of his body. You see him hands clasped with a number of other miners, workers, people from the city. And before them is an absolutely massive black structure that looks like an egg. In our terms of reality, it's like a skyscraper. Under the ground, in a hollowed-out chamber. It is black. However, there's a massive crack down the middle, spiderwebbing towards the bottom, and it is leaking something even darker than its own blackness. It is absorbing light. It is bubbling. And as it flows out of this thing onto the ground, a number of people are reveling in it in total madness. They are covering their bodies from head to toe with it. They are drinking it into themselves to the point where their own stomach is bloated and heavy. And many of them are changed. There are 3 individuals above them, hovering, levitating, wearing the robes of magi, chanting. It looks as though they were trying to contain it, but they themselves went mad. You then see Aaron is gone. The memories continue of the thing that took him over. You see him and a number of other people covered in this unholy substance run out of the tunnels, up the multiple layers. You, Hadit, see what the other layers look like before anyone else. 3rd layer. The walls are covered in a thick ice, though it is the dead of summer, 90 degrees. Strange claw marks are in the ice made by human hands, bloody as if clawed through the ice to the point where stumps of their fingers remained, blood filling in the crevices with unnatural writing that makes no sense in any language, because you are aware of all languages. Your mind translates these things in time. Give an arisen an hour staring at a language, and you understand it. This is gibberish. It's nonsense. It is Babel. There are hundreds of naked people down here, hovering together in warmth, all gone mad. You get to the 2nd layer. It is foul and hot, filled with the stench of decay. There are things made of that blackness that are no longer human all around. The 1st layer looks like the average dig site with lanterns. It's not yet been as corrupted. However, towards the entrance down to the 2nd layer, an immeasurable amount of tools, clothing, personal effects have been simply dropped onto the floor of the entrance. Piles of them. Shoes, clothes, hammers, saws, pickaxes, flashlights, lanterns. Anything that people would need to work in this tunnel upon entering, going to that 2nd layer, they all went insane and left it all behind. And you see him rush out. Others with him covered in the black substance, getting shot, one by the other falling, being set on fire by unnatural-looking kindred, lupines. Anything that the Crucible Initiative could send. Every now and then they fall, getting infected by these humanoid things, dying. Aaron stops. He peels the blackness off of him as quickly as he can, cuts off his own tongue, and he walks back into camp, claiming insanity, until a bigger fish arrived in Bucharest. You. And at that, we will take a short break. This is Gehenna Gaming. Thank you for watching our halfway point for the Contagion Chronicle as we deal with some very unusual circumstances. We'll be back in 5 or 7 minutes as we take a bio, get a drink. I encourage you all at home to do the same. Self-care is fantastic. Let me know if you have any questions, comments. Follow all the wonderful people on this stream. How's everyone doing? You having a great time?
This is amazing.
Fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Thank you guys. I love playing with you. All right. We will be right back. We'll see you soon. Hi. Yep. Test. Cool. Oh. Hey, we're having a great time. We'll be right back, everybody. Oh, I see it. Nah, she's right. And we are back from our break with the Contagion Chronicles, Gehenna Gaming, this is Mummy the Cursed. With me, my fantastic crew. Geez, what just happened to you guys? Why don't you give them a quick rundown of where we left off?
My hands were deep inside of somebody's brain, and I was pulling the memories from when they got infected by a disruptive contagion that was taking over everybody's minds.
And I was thinking that was foolish because there's nothing of merit inside the head. Everyone knows the true soul is stored in the heart.
Yeah, you did just kind of watch your buddy just dig around in some dude's head for a second.
Well, that's not new behavior.
Is it? I don't really remember.
You travel with me, so it probably isn't.
Yeah, he has no points in medicine, so he anatomy and physiology is lost on poor old Gorlab.
But given that you guys have worked together for a bit, I'm assuming Eshe has some idea of what you were doing, so she's going to wait till you withdraw your hand. Assuming you do, you just walk around with his head.
Sarai,
Oh,
Sarai.
could we do that? Could we just carry the head around and steal memories from it?
It's your game.
Yes.
But, she asks what you've learned.
So Hadi pulls his arm out of the skull of
Are you
Adan.
okay?
Subar, are you okay?
I am fine.
Did nobody hurt you? Do you have any bruises?
No.
Oh, thank God. Thank Nasetaka. I think I know what happens when you mix Molotov cocktail with that black sludge, and I'm telling you, we do not want to do that.
Why is this?
Oh, there was something so dark infecting everything and everyone. It will destroy and make everyone insane. There are bodies piled up naked in joyful ecstasy as they cover themselves in the black sludge. There are mages down there with insane looks in their eyes, completely taken over by that. And he points at the wriggling thing that I think Eshe has in her hand right now.
If it was a physical substance that she could grab, yes, she would have hold of
Yeah.
it. Just in case, because, grip of death and all that good jazz.
Then you have it. It is like a collection of eels.
Do we
Gross.
wish to question this, or shall we seek to destroy it?
Can we question the eels?
It's a
Eels,
good-
what say you?
I think we can figure it out. We're immortal. We can figure this out.
I could talk to dead people all day long. Eels is not my forte.
Dead people or dead things?
Well, dead people. Probably things. I've never tried it before.
So, Eshe's occult specialization is spirit communication. I don't think that's helpful here.
It may be helpful, because is there an essence, a spirit, so to speak, of the eels? Because what I saw down there is like the mama of what you have in your hand. It is a piece of it, and it's an essence that connects us all, is it not? We are all connected by the everything. And perhaps maybe that has an essence too. And you can maybe attune to said essence if one can call it a spirit. If it has a spirit, there seems to be, from what I witnessed inside of Adan's brain and his memories, is that this thing has this. I mean, you all saw it. What did he say? You will take us to the machine.
And then he regrew his limbs and his tongue? Or healed his limbs?
He turned and he was able to heal his limbs like that. His mind was gone after that. He was only the corruption. This
Well, then
contagion.
perhaps I can attempt to. Eshe is going to try to reach out with her, I don't know, divine essence. I'm not entirely sure what you would call it, to the black inky snake eels that she's holding, and see if there is indeed a consciousness there that she could communicate with, a spirit. Do you want me to roll anything?
Roll worms, please.
Please roll your highest worm rating for confusion. Oh, geez. Let's do a resolve and occult with your specialty of spirit communication. So that is a total of 5.
Yes.
While she's doing that, I would like to go through Iran's pockets.
Good idea.
1 success.
There's nothing in his pockets. Much like anything else he would have had on him, he dumped it all. 1 success.
Yes.
You look at this thing. You can feel it with your hands. You delve deep into it, beyond it, into the spirit that may or may not compose this thing. It's like nothing you've ever felt before. It's not anti-spirit, it's not void. It's pure chaos. You find no way to talk to it, if it wants to be talked to. It is single-mindedly thinking one thing: to infect and destroy the God machine.
All right.
The ground beneath your feet shakes. There's a 4.0 magnitude earthquake. Hits the region.
Sumar, get under the bed.
What is happening?
Get under the bed.
It's the eels.
No, just be careful. Just protect your head.
We're in a tent.
No, it's a building.
Oh, that was a tent.
And
Okay.
no, we were in a tent before. And
Yeah.
as the ground shakes and this earthquake occurs, Eshe is ignoring all of that and very focused on the complete lack of substance in these creatures, because it's deeply disconcerting. And she says, there is no way we can communicate with this thing. It has one thought, and that is to infect and destroy the God machine. Beyond that, there is nothing there.
What is this God machine?
Does she
Rosie.
get an image or anything?
Eshe, give me a resolve and composure roll.
Yes, I would also like to know if Hadit knows what the God machine is.
You would have heard of it because you are
Success.
part. 1 success. Tied. Tie goes to
You
the player.
Oh, good. I was going to ask if I need to spend willpower, but I'll take it.
You want to spend willpower?
No, not if I don't have to.
Do you have to?
It's a one shot.
I mean, well, I get more if I spend the willpower.
You feel a clash of wills.
Then yes, I will spend the willpower.
And so will I.
A clash of wills.
So in Chronicles, what happens when we spend willpower?
You can re-roll. Well, let's do it like V5. You can re-roll. Actually, I think in this, it's re-roll all your failed die.
Yeah, it's all failed die for Chronicles, I believe. Wait, does Chronicles have exploding die?
So I did get 110, but I don't think that explodes.
It's
So now
plus
that's
3 dice. According to the cheat sheet.
what?
Sorry.
So that's 2 successes, a 9 and a 10.
Okay. You felt a clash of wills. This thing, as you peered into it, peered into you. And
Ah.
tried to convince you, kill the God Machine. Kill the God Machine. It's what the judges want. You want.
And she's just going to sort of shout into that void.
Ankabit commands you, kill the God Machine.
No. When the Eater of Shadows wants their will done, they shall inform me as such. You are not they. Be gone from me.
And as you rebuke them, they shrink lesser and lesser until they are spiritually as dead as they were physically.
She'll let those inky noodle things go now. Gross.
Sumar,
Yes.
do you have a lighter? Well, it's the 20s, right? So I don't know. It matches?
Of course. I have a lighter.
Gimme.
This is yours.
Gorsuch. Sorry, Gorlab. Wow.
Or such.
Oy. Gorlab, I know you have some high octane booze on you.
Yes. I hand you my flask.
Let's do our little Molotov cocktail trick for old Wriggly Worm over here, huh?
I agree. It must be burned.
Yes.
You should do that outside.
Oh no, we're burning this entire hospital down. I'm sorry. I should have.
Oh, I will leave. I'll be on my way out then.
Yes, we probably should go now.
Yes.
I feel like Esh should destroy the hospital with her unique talents.
Do we wish to evacuate or just burn everyone?
No, Sumar, please you leave. Don't
Sure.
take anyone with you.
Yes, sir.
Eshe.
You just want to see me pull down a meteorite.
Everyone wants to see you do it. Yes.
I would save it.
I think I should save it.
You can do it however often you can.
I would save it.
It is
You
not a
can't use
power
it
to be
in a
used.
mine.
It is not a power to be used willy-nilly. It is something that should be respected as it has cosmic potential.
Well said.
So let's. But I do agree we should burn this place. We cannot risk
Absolutely.
spread.
I'm grabbing like ethers. I'm grabbing glass bottles of formaldehydes.
Then
I'm
shatter
taking
to the floor.
things that look like liquids that look vaguely flammable.
You, as you smash these to the ground, actually create phosgene gas between chemical of formaldehyde and bleach and a number of other things. Are you setting it on blaze and walking out?
Actually,
Yeah, it's gonna be like one of those scenes from an '80s action film.
Kaiser
you know?
Sose.
Yeah,
Actually,
I want to like throw the match behind as we're all walking out like Reservoir.
I can do something. I can do something probably about the same. Rick,
Yeah,
can I
yeah.
count the hospital as an object?
Yes,
Well,
the
I mean,
hospital is in fact an object.
I would like to use obedient clay and change the solid matter of the hospital into a liquid.
what kind of can you change it into any liquid that you want?
No, it's the same matter. It's just
Oh.
now a liquid.
Although, okay.
So do you want to do that instead of burning it, or do both? That both feels
Listen.
like overkill.
Some people are about to drown.
Can we do both?
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
Let's do
But
both. I say
no, 'cause-
both. Both.
If you burn it and then you turn it to liquid, won't that just put the fire out?
Why? It's not water.
But it's liquid.
It doesn't mean it's not flammable.
That's true.
And with all of the pieces of the building and the stuff inside of it, like which is more flammable, the flammable stuff or the non-flammable?
Now
stuff?
the burning liquid will go into their lungs.
Okay.
The people
I-
themselves would actually liquefy as well.
The people do not liquefy. My power does not do that.
Oh,
That's probably a separate thing.
It was
I
just
wish I
drowned
could
in
do
building as they're burning.
Yeah, so I love the idea that we're having this argument as we're like walking down a
Walking
hallway.
out.
Like a nurse is like, what?
The fire has already started and the building is already liquefied, and we're still figuring out whether
We're
or
still
not.
No,
arguing
it's this.
about it.
before that. Right.
Remember, it didn't work this way in Samaria. We're just going back.
Oh,
and forth.
Samaria.
Gorlab got me really drunk, and I do not remember Sumeria at all.
It is better that you do not,
I'm afraid of what I did.
as you should be.
Sumeria was
Do you
a
want
town.
to montage and say that this building is fucked,
Yes.
and then head directly to the tunnels?
If we could fast travel, that'd be great.
Let's roll forward. Let's fast forward through this. This hospital liquefies, catches on fire, everyone drowns and gets burned. It's total mess. Physics don't even apply here. You don't even know why or how this is happening. Unsolved Mysteries 1920s editions is going to be all over this one. Like that Great
Update.
Molasses Fire in Boston or whatever.
Yeah, they're gonna blame it on the communists.
Yeah, Red Scare.
The Ottoman Empire. Still not sure what happened. Oh, wait, this is Bucharest.
Close enough, probably.
Kind of.
Sorry, I thought we were.
You, base of the mountain, find the tunnels. Number of charred bodies out front. You enter.
If I may, I would like to scout ahead before we enter.
How would you like to do that?
I would like to activate my utterance. Dust beneath feet and swim through earth,
Okay.
Interesting.
through which I can also see, and I can see in the dark due to my living in the now affinity.
Yeah, how many bodies did you say were out front as well?
A couple dozen.
Okay.
You meld with the earth. How many layers down? You know there are 4.
I want to see if I can get past the second level barrier.
You want to try and go through it yourself, or are you going to try and burrow around it?
Do I encounter it through the ground?
You do. It's as if it's a sphere.
Okay, I won't try to penetrate it. I will just look to see, get an account of how many are past it in the mind, like that we will encounter before we get to it when we descend.
It's really just the one, and it's kind of encapsulating the 3rd and 4th level.
I meant how many people or things.
Oh, how many people or things? So you're trying to get a good idea of
Mm-hmm.
the life forms.
To scout out, yes.
You are able to penetrate that layer. The number of things. On the 3rd layer, there's about 200. Humanoid
no.
humanoid things. On the second layer, there is one large insectoid-like thing. On the fourth layer, there are 3 living things. And something massive that feels wrong. Your cultists have followed you to the opening of the cavern. Their guns, swords, torches are ready to follow you wherever you command.
I would like to raise some of these dead people. I'd like to create thralls.
Okay.
With my Awaken the Dead.
Yes, you may.
Now I'm greedy, and I want to awaken all of them and have all of them be my thralls. However, there are rules that we must follow and mechanics that we must be in line with. And I do want to make sure that I'm not taking more than Hadit can handle. So he has a Shuit rating of 3 and a Ren rating of, looks like 5. Wow.
5.
Cosmic.
Cosmic.
How many thralls can he make out of this? You said 24, I believe.
24 that you can see. You don't know how many people have actually died here. And your power extends far beyond the recent. This is a cosmic ability.
Hadit has no cultists for a very specific reason. Sumar is his favorite boy. He's a beautiful boy. He's got the power of 10 men, but often he relies on the dead. And Hadit would like to awaken all of the dead that he can in this general vicinity. I want to wake up those close to me. I'm going to wake up those in every layer that are dead. From my point A to the point B of our where we're going.
Okay.
I'd like to awaken all of them if I can.
There's no role in the book for this. So I'm going to do what I think is appropriate storyteller math. These beings have memory, and there's different layers to this power. There's thralls, and then there's people who have literally reformed themselves from being dead to being very much like Sumar. They are now filled with a fraction of your power. And from what the book is telling me, they are nothing to sneeze at. It's not, manipulation and occult. Let's see, is for the first level. There's not really a cap as far as how many people. Let's see. Oh, up to their rating on this pillar for the second one. But for the third one... Okay, your pillar rating is 5. You have a SecM currently 10.
Yep.
You raise 50 absolutely perfect and flawless beings filled with your golden power. These are stronger than any mortal man. These could easily go toe-to-toe with a kindred, possibly even a lupine. And after those perfect 50, About 100 shambling hordes follow.
Mummy.
Witness my cult.
To
And
the
I just-
ground, they burrow, rise up, and await and look at you. The 50 perfect, picking up weapons straight out of the earth. And with the power of your pillar, Ren, often causes things that are decayed or broken to be fixed. The old tarnished, rusted weapons they died with are now impeccably flawless, like the blade of Sumar's knife.
Hear me. All of you are blessed by me, the great and powerful Hadith. First, destroy. We will sweep through and kill anything that gets in our way. Second, we will protect. Me and my associates and Sumar. I got you, buddy.
They march forward. Do you follow?
Yes.
Yes.
All three?
Yeah.
Okay. The cultists that you have
Mummies.
with you,
We're fucking mummies.
are the
Oh,
cultists
we're fucking
staying
mummies.
behind?
I instruct my cult to wait here and do not allow anything to leave.
If we do not return by sunrise, Tim Meadows, just blow up the entrance to this mine. Tim, are you here? I don't remember what you look like.
He looks like Tim Meadows.
This guy approaches, he looks more like Kevin Nealon. And he says, "Oh, I got some bad news about Tim.
What happened to Tim?
He's fucking wasted.
Tim?
But
Tim?
I'm here, and I'm not really nearly as good. But I can blow the hell out of a mine tunnel. No one's coming in here
I'm
either.
finding a way to make you immortal.
Heck yeah. Gorlab. Team Gorlab.
Team Gorlab.
So they wait. They make sure no one enters, and they absolutely make sure no one leaves. You progress down to the second level. That second level full of bizarre ice and hundreds of bodies piled together. As soon as your cultists step down there, they are almost like in a giant naked ball. These people, mad from exposure to this disease, this thing. They all get up and rush your shamblers, your cultists. Your cultists, the 50 perfect, begin slicing through them, one after another. The insane townspeople are cut down very quickly. Some of your shamblers go down, a number of them. But as they go down, they take the people down with them, biting, clawing. And as they bite into the flesh of these things, they too become shamblers, as if your power extends through them. The shamblers that fall simply rise and take another's place, until there are no more. You move to the third layer.
This is good.
The third layer is hot. The air is acrid and foul. It's extremely humid. And as you walk down there, your shamblers first. These very large, fat, disgusting flies the size of several people merged together, with countless disgusting insectoid wings, begin flying directly into the ranks of your people, knocking several down, making straight lines through them, bursting with pestilence, the contagion spreading. Those who were filled with the life force of Hadik find it fade away very quickly as the contagion eats it alive. The 50 perfect ones begin slicing them apart as if almost unaffected. But moments later, they too start to convulse. Pustules like Ebola show in their face. Their bodies begin to try and fight it off. But within half an hour, the only thing standing in that catacomb are 3 arisen and Sumar.
I'm gonna be sick, guys. I'm gonna be sick. Oh, I'm gonna be so sick. I'm gonna be so sick.
Exactly like Samaria.
And Hadith starts to retch and gag, and out of his mouth crawls scarabs. 3 of them. I don't know what I need to roll for this, but it's called The Rite of the Sacred Scarab. I want to puke up 3 scarabs. Tier 1 that will protect me, and it can just be 2. I won't be selfish, just 2. They'll protect Gorlab and Ashe, inflicting a -2 penalty on dice rolls that would physically harm them in any way. I don't know what I need to roll for this.
I believe you're not the only one with this particular ability. Ashe and Gorlab might have it as well.
I do not have Sacred Scarab.
No. 1 moment.
I'm more concerned about getting them a Sacred Scarab than getting myself one.
Don't worry about me.
That's on the sheet I gave you, right, Mark?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I can only do 1.
A Sacred Scarab minion is on page 129.
Yep, I've got it right in the Sacred Scarab. You're doing tier 1?
Tier 1.
You unravel a portion of Sekhem from within, regurgitating it as a large scarab of chitin, gold, and jewels. Though not truly alive, the scarab serves as a protective amulet for those that bear it, inflicting a -2 die on rolls that would physically harm the bearer in any way. You can create a number of these equal to a number of these amulets concurrently.
Oh, I can do multiple at the same time.
With a shoot pillar of 1 or more. What is your shoot?
Well, I've got 3, so
you create 3. Are you using them on the Arisen?
yeah, I'm gonna pin them up on each one of our lapels.
Okay.
Don't worry about me. Worry about your guy.
Oh, who, Sumar?
Yeah.
He's like 10 men. He's fine.
How many men are we?
100.
So worry about some more.
No, take it.
One guy.
It's a gift to you, though.
All right.
Sumar has like 4 in his pocket already, right, Sumar?
I do not have one.
What? Didn't I give you one before? Birthday's coming up soon.
It is.
Maybe.
You do never forget.
I don't. Maybe. It's next month, though. So it's for you, Gorlab.
Okay. I'm quiet. How big is this area we're in? How tall is it?
About 25 feet.
Okay.
All right. Down to the next layer then.
The final layer.
Everybody is dead.
Yes.
Fuck.
Your rejuvenating powers can no longer animate that which has been so scrambled by this malignant chaos that life cannot rise from it anymore.
So, I just want to double check. Which power did Hadid use? Because I have Words of Dead Glory. Did he utilize that one or a different one?
Different.
Different one?
Mhm.
Will Words of Dead Glory still work on these? Because it focuses specifically on. I think it's different. Can I use his leavings? Essentially.
No,
His
because
leavings.
she wants to use your entrails. No, because there's nothing even
There's nothing left?
remotely
Okay.
possible to contain those life energies. It's like trying to
Alright.
make people directly out of dirt,
Okay.
which is not out of the realm of possibility for an arisen.
No.
However, in this case, everything is so scrambled. Nothing will ever grow here again.
Carthago delanda est.
The X-nay on the
Is
Pythagoras.
it Big Latin?
All right, down we go.
That final level.
Did we encounter that barrier?
You walked through it.
Like a knife, hot knife through butter.
Even Sumar is able to walk through it.
Smar is pretty cool.
Told you.
Sumar is not like the others.
Fucking Tim.
He has a stronger portion. He is a pillar of Hidik's power.
Fucking
within him.
Tim.
All you need
Literally
is
a
one
portion,
good man.
a portion of Hadid's soul. That final barrier, that final level, you see it. That massive stone black egg. Containment of some kind with a contagion. Placed by who knows and when.
There it is. There it is.
Yes.
I want to use enlightened senses.
Okay.
I guess I'm reading enlightened senses wrong because I'm reading it as like a vampire. I guess I'm trying to kind of see if there's any beings or anything kind of coming out of said egg that I can't see normally.
The
Or-
contagion.
Huh?
The contagion is flowing out of it. Slowly. It's a crack. The crack looks bigger now in person than it did when you saw through the eyes of Arun. There is more of that substance on the ground than there was before.
It's growing. This thing's not going to stop.
Thing inside of the egg?
It's out now. I mean, it's in the egg, coming out of the egg, and it's everywhere. It's
A pillar of light comes through the rock from above you. And there's a man inside of it who walks out
Uh-oh.
in. For a split second, you who can see with heightened senses see a orb of gold rings hovering around each other with thousands of eyes and wings. And it forms and coalesces into a humanoid body and says, "Stop."
Yeah, now is an appropriate time for secrets ripped from skies.
I have a quick question. Do we hear that with our ears or inside our minds?
And in your soul.
All right. Fuck.
You must go no further, servants of the Duat.
Okay,
What
us.
lies beyond here must not come in contact with anything else. The sorcerers have entered, shrouding themselves from the God Machine. They sought to take its power, and it cracked, poisoning this land. It must not come in contact with you. This place must be leveled to the ground.
I don't disagree.
I think we agree on this point.
Wait, could you have done this whole time and saved all these people?
Yeah, who
Who
the
are you
fuck
talking
is
to?
He's
The
talking to
giant glowing man. Why
My
would I be
orders
talking to you?
come from above, as yours do. Why are you here now when you could have been here before?
Why are you here now when you could have been here before? And who the fuck are you?
Also, we had to walk. You can clearly just go through
If
stuff.
this thing encounters Jacob's ladder, the direct path to the machine, all reality as you know it will end.
Yes. Okay. We're here to destroy everything here. We're here to stop this thing. This is why we're here, and you're stopping us from stopping this thing. And so now, my question is, why are you standing in our way?
If it comes in contact with you, it will be the end of all you know. As he's talking, three men in cloaks,
Nerds.
three nerds,
With pocket protectors, we shall prevail.
we are warriors of reality.
Stop. In the
I'm
name
sorry.
in the name of knowledge.
Okay, guys,
Sorry.
we gotta.
The pen is mightier than the sword.
We will go forever if we don't stop now.
Sorry.
Three magi reach out and grab this angel, infecting him as their hands are gone. From the stubs of their bloody wrists, black tendrils like the ones in Arun grab him and infect him, burrowing into his flesh, pouring down through his eye sockets and his mouth. The scream he lets out is almost like an AOL dial tone if you had DSL back in the 90s.
I know exactly what you.
I'd like to cast familiar faces on these nerds.
Okay.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, hey. What are you guys doing? Stop for a second.
They continue to attack. As if they don't even recognize your words. They are not them anymore.
I don't know what to
The
do.
blackness begins to somehow touch the pillar of light, which shouldn't be possible, as if the light is solid to it, and begins quickly climbing, ascending to whatever this thing came from.
No.
The egg behind you begins to crack further.
Quick question. How many tiers of an utterance can I activate at once?
As many as you wish.
All right. Cool.
What do you have in mind?
Revelations of Smoke and Flames, tier 2 and 3.
Have that.
Boop, boop, boop. Let me just mark off my
I'm
pillars.
eyeing up the Kiss of Apep. If I can get close enough to touch it.
Okay.
And And I am going to rebuke the Vizier and shroud myself in protective magic while running at the light. And I'm screaming at Sumar, alley-oop.
Does he like go to foot you and so you could
Yep.
jump and Air Jordan this thing?
Yep. I'd like to jump at like the pillar of light with the infection. I want to like meet it at the pass.
Yes. Okay. I know exactly what you mean by Rebuke the Vizier. It's one of the ones I saw very recently. You coat yourself in what's basically anti-magic.
Mm-hmm.
And you were able to block the tendrils from climbing up any further. Instead, it's almost like a polar opposite of a... It's like the polar end of a magnet to you. It flails in the opposite direction, away from the light. As the angel begins to be corrupted and die, the light begins to flicker, and it is gone. As
Can I
it's
kick his-
struggling?
Can I kick his head while they're doing that?
No, why not?
Yeah, I'm gonna kick his. I'm gonna kick the dude's head who was
Fuck
the
this
douchebag.
guy.
Fuck this guy.
Okay, kiss of Apep, and
Yeah. I think I want to just do it level 1. That's just the one where it will blah, 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 blah. No, level Level 3 is the one where it manifests as a dark cloud that does damage, right?
That's the one I think it is. That's a hell maze.
I don't think it's the Hell Maze. Sorry, I have this in weirdly
Ben, do
formatted
you want to
on my
describe to
screen.
them what you have become?
Gorla begins screaming. First, he turns, his skin begins to blacken and then glow red, like his veins begin to glow, and then turn to fire. He sprouts wings of ash and shadow and flame, and takes off. And then his glow continues until he bursts into flame, and that flame swiftly grows into a burning tornado of fire.
You completely engulf 2 of those corrupted mages. How much does it say? How much damage that does?
I do. So it does the same damage as a chemical fire, and I looked that up. It is 6 damage at least.
Wow.
Because I assume this is an inferno, and chemical fire means +3. So inferno is 3, and +3, so 6.
Jesus.
Also, the sky above me is a shining pillar of light pointing down on me.
That cavern illuminates with an unnatural glow. As everything Ben has said has come to pass, he explodes like a phoenix with wings of ash. And this fiery twister hits 2 of those mages, burning their clothes right off of their bodies. They are seared, blackened, burn victims. They fall to the ground, writhing in pain, somewhere between misery and death. But they are not dead. The energies within them, the contagion within them, is forcing them to live. They are healing extremely slowly. If they were anything, if they were dealt any less of a blow, they would have been like our own and rejuvenated by now. But they have gone through something horrifying. The flesh on their faces is gone. It is blackened red, crisp to their bone. They are wishing for death, but they can no longer make sense of anything. Chaos and their will to destroy the God Machine.
So I am going to cast Kiss of Apep at tier 3.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
And it is the Black Hell Maze
Eh.
My favorite
they're
part of this
fucked.
description is the darkness is a maze of ever-shifting corridors to ghosts and other beings in twilight, folded endlessly in non-Euclidean spirals. That's like at the bottom of this description.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So let me just spend the necessary items, and it's freaking cheap for something that cool.
So you basically wrap the last one in an ever spiraling hellscape.
Oh my god.
And that darkness will do damage to it. Do you want me to help you calculate that, or do you just...
He's stuck in it.
Yeah, it's probably just going to go until he's dead.
He will not escape.
Yeah, cool.
Ever.
Even the sickness within him. It's so chaotic that there was no way that this thing could get out.
Yeah.
I don't want to metagame, but I have a quick question.
Yeah.
With
Yes,
this.
his power is amazing.
So okay, so we've already established that that the contagion essentially kind of has a little bit of a sentience, right? And this mage is infected by said consciousness.
Yeah.
So when he or she, the mage, what's the gender identity of the pronouns of the...
This is a she/her.
Okay, so when she enters into this hell maze, is she taking the contagion with her?
Yeah.
And also, point of reference, as the Arisen unleashes this tier, black clouds of palpable darkness spread out from her body, filling a space. So I don't think it's just the one.
Oh, it's one per turn.
It's one per turn, but it is going to
Invoke
in
grab the
yeah.
others. Yeah. So I was able to have, there is a opposed roll to this
Yes.
of wits and composure to try and find your way out of this ever-changing fucking nightmare.
They also
Yes.
each get a derangement while they're in there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
However,
oh my god,
I was able to roll 3 successes. However, that is negated by the Arisen's shoot rating. In this case, Eshe's is 5.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no possible way that they will escape.
Yeah.
And
So
it
she's-
eventually swallows up the other two.
So she essentially strides forward, and blackness billows out from her and slowly envelops these people and traps them in these once people and traps them in a dark hellscape from which they are unable to drag themselves.
It reminds me of that scene in Beetlejuice where the camera's from behind his head and his face opens up to scary stuff in front and you don't really quite see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it.
The angel before you, lying at your feet, doesn't resemble anything near the divine anymore. It is struggling and gasping for breath. The mages lie dead. The egg is further cracked. This place, as you said, you know what to do. What are you doing?
Angel is on the floor being gross and annoying. Egg is cracked. I hate this guy. Egg is cracked and things are coming out. And Hadit is standing still in the pillar of light between the contagion.
The pillar is gone. It flickered off as the angel was corrupted.
Oh, that.
Okay. That's what I was trying to understand. Okay.
Yep.
All right, so I guess we need to destroy this egg, or do we try to seal the crack, or?
I don't know if it's possible to seal the crack. I think that the crack cuts not just through the egg, I think it cuts through time and space.
One of those.
I think that we could seal the clay and the crack will still exist through time and space.
Can it resist magic fire? We shall find out.
Because you're now a living pillar of flame.
For 10 hours.
Let's
Or until I choose to end it.
roll that dice.
Let's see what happens.
If flame lasts for more than 10 hours, seek hospital assistance.
Is the angel still alive?
Does he have Sekhem?
Everything has Sekhem.
Can we drain his Sekhem?
Sure. Do you do it?
Oh, I'm a burning pillar of fire. One of them could do it.
Ashe?
Sure. Ashe will kneel down, and I'm not sure how one goes about draining Sekhem from an individual. All I can picture is kindred doing their thing, but I feel like it's probably different.
Much the same with your hands. You pull the very life force from his body. Feel it enter into you, draining out of it. It feels gross, however.
Uh-oh.
Like polluted?
Probably shouldn't have
Polluted.
done that.
Can I stop?
Roll composure and resolve.
Dude.
Bad idea.
Don't forget, you can spend pillars to boost your resolve or composure.
Hadit,
Excellent point.
Yes.
give me a wits and awareness.
I spend a willpower.
Okay.
Plus 3 dice.
Pardon?
You get bonus or re-rolling 3, whatever.
3 successes.
You win. You're able to push it out of your mind. And you feel just as invigorated as you did when you first woke in this era. What'd you get, Hadit?
I got 3 10s.
Oh. You look at the egg. The base of it. Pool of blackness. There's a man scooping up handfuls of black, thick liquid, gorging himself. And it's Sumar.
Oh no. Sumar, stop.
Bad. Hit him with a rolled up newspaper.
Sumar, bad.
I walk up to Sumar quietly, slowly, and purposefully. And I pet the back of his head as he's eating. And I grab his hair with one hand, and I grab his forehead with my other hand. Then I turn and look away. And a tear falls from my eye as I twist his head all the way around. severing his neck from his head.
Think about the rabbits, Sumar.
Think about the rabbits. Samar, no. You were the best boy, Samar. You were the greatest boy.
He falls to the floor, lifeless.
I think this is a very appropriate time for tier 2 secrets ripped from the skies.
Oh.
The-
We're in a cave.
we're in we're immortal. Even if we die here, we come back somewhere else.
Do you do it?
Is the angel alive or dead right now?
Alive.
Oh.
Even though Eshe drained his...
I didn't drain it. I stopped because it was icky.
I would like to... We must destroy this place. Yes.
Yes, I'm a burning pillar of flame. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a giant burning pillar of flame. Let's see what that does first.
But
That's
let's get what we can get from it before we do this.
Also, Eshe, if you could use intimidation to interrogate this angel.
I don't really think it's in a position to tell us anything.
Do you know what the god machine is?
No, but if it's infected, I seriously doubt that it will be able to tell me more than those eels were able to tell me.
Hmm.
They had but one thought.
Aran was able to tell Hadid things.
There's really only one way to do that.
You
Does
hear...
an angel have a memory?
Not anymore. Utu Neseret calls and beckons through the soul of Gorlab.
That's me.
You are needed. You must return at once.
I was going to cook this egg first, but
You and the other two must come back now. Finish what you are doing. I have spoken.
yes, my judge.
Hadit hears the same from Sekiru. Eshe hears the same from Kabit. This has never happened before that you have ever heard of. That 3 judges would issue this command.
Hadit takes the head of the angel and smashes it on the floor a couple of times. Enough to get access inside of his brain. And tries to connect his inner being to the inner being and primary thoughts of the once alive angel. But I want to do this quickly, and I want to do this efficiently so that I can run out of this place, because I think I know what's happening soon, and I don't want to be in here when that happens.
You lose 2 points of Sekhem. By doing this, as you are not immediately obeying the wishes of Sekiru.
Yeah, I know.
You reach into this angel's now smashed open head like a cantaloupe on the ground. It's not like Aaron. You touch the gray matter of his brain, and it hurts. It is like lightning. It begins to deal aggravated damage to your Sahu, your arisen body. You feel your willpower eroding. You feel the pain echoing through the ages of your previous descents. What memory are you looking for?
I'm not looking for his memory. If he is what I think he is, he has a direct connection to the God Machine.
He does.
I want to touch the memory of the God Machine.
You find the avenue by which all of his defensive beings, the conduit from the heaven to the earth, you find Jacob's ladder. It is a massive pillar of energy. From space down to earth. It almost looks like Yggdrasil, the giant tree in Asgardian legend, made of pure light. And it's located in Sodom and Gomorrah.
We have to destroy this place. We have to.
As we were commanded to, yes, and then return.
Yes. More than that. We have to destroy this place. Burn it all.
I will try to burn it.
Burn them all. And Hadit stands up and starts walking away.
Do you burn it? Gorlab. S-shape, do you call down the meteor?
Yes.
And from the dawn of time, a piece of space rock, shortly after the Big Bang, alters its course, and throughout the ages is singularly pinpointed at the location of this mountain in Bucharest, scheduled to hit exactly this day, this time in 1928, as if predetermined, predestined, fated, not free, by your will, by the will of the judges. This mountain and everything in it implodes to a degree that the asteroid impact burrows so far deep beneath the peak of this mountain that a fissure of lava bursts and sprays, making it appear a natural calamity. The Arisen, the body of Sumar, the angel, are vaporized. And as soon as it happened, you awaken, lying flat, horizontally, in the waters, the Duat, the paradise, with the night sky, where the golden reeds blow gently in a cool summer breeze, every star in the cosmos exposed to your perfect eyes. And as you look up, 42 judges, as if made up of the clouds, in a spiral, look down at you. However, someone is next to you three who shouldn't be there. And as you sit up and walk out of the rivers of the Duat, the river that separates life from death, onto its shores, you are followed by Sumar. A mortal who should not be here, who had never underwritten the right of return. Yet, piece of his soul, given to him by the great and powerful Hadith, echoes through his body, glistening as he drips with contagion. The rivers of the Duat turn red
Oh no.
and boil. As they boil, the smoke and vapor ascend to the clouds, where 42 judges begin choking to death on the toxic vapors. Your judge, Sekiru, the 6 small snakes burst from the belly. The falcon god.
Wait, can I use an utterance?
You can.
I would like to use obedient clay to turn that particle gas into a solid so it cannot ascend.
Do it.
Done.
Welcome, Faye the Pagan. Thank you for the raid. We
It
love you.
cannot
Thank you for the
ascend to our gods.
Do it.
Done.
Done. Those vapors of the Contagion, once spiraling into the clouds, fall like hailstones, black onyx, smacking into the ground. They reform as liquid, moving, trying to find something, anything that it can crawl up and ascend. The gods, the judges, speak directly into the minds of you three so that it may not hear. All of them at once say, it needs a proper target. We cannot have this thing in this holy place. What does it want? What does it want most of all? You hear
To
other
just-
voices. Go ahead.
No, sorry, continue.
You hear other voices in the background saying, our very sanctum has been infected. It will not stop. It must be diverted.
My mind immediately goes to the God machine. The place inside of the angel's skull connecting directly to Jacob's ladder all the way up into Sodom and Gomorrah, where the God machine is. I would like to direct it there by a sense of will or a pleading with the judges. I'm sorry, God. It was us. And it goes there. To Sodom and Gomorrah, to the God machine.
You must draw it from this place. Go. Break the ladder. Break its defenses. Lead the Contagion to its prize. The world of man. We can do without. This place must be kept sacred. It will follow you out.
Hadit runs. And on his way through, he grabs Sumar. You're like 10 men, Sumar. You were like 10 men.
You plummet, holding him through time, through the earth. Eshe, Gorlab, much the same. you awaken on the outskirts of that fated place. An area of 11 cities, all aligned. However, as you rise from your tomb with perfect clarity, as if gifted by the gods immediately, full of more Sekhem than you ever have been or have ever heard of before. Perfect vessels of the gods, given one clear directive. Your Sahu, your body, rising from that entombed creature of dry lips, leathery muscles hanging from your body, repairs itself in an instant as you take on the appearances of Hadit, Gorlab, and Eshe. You rise. On the ground before you is an oily, naked, covered Sumar, who somehow came with the descent, covered in Contagion. He gets up and starts to crawl towards the tree, towards Jacob's ladder, the beacon of light between these two faded cities, ascending to the heaven, the one conduit leading to the God King, God Machine.
Well, I told you. He's a strong boy.
He's your boy.
Not anymore. We could try.
We must.
Round 2. What do you say?
But
A
of
meteor.
course.
Why not 2 meteors? I believe that if I concentrate, we could have twins. One for each city.
A trumpet blares from the heavens. 3 beacons of light strike and sear the ground before you as 3 angels stand between you and the pillar. To defend reality, to stop the madness. As you are knowingly spreading an affliction that will end everything. Because the judges have told you so.
Not these
What
guys again.
are you doing here? What could you possibly think to accomplish?
Our sacred tasks.
Your sacred task is to destroy the world.
Our sacred task is to save the judges.
They mean more to you than life itself.
They are our life.
Perhaps they were. They charge you.
Can I quickly activate an utterance?
You fucking sure can.
I would like to use Revelations of Smoke and Flame to create some sort of sandstorm, but also to materialize my spear in my hands.
You stomp the yard. And everyone dances. No. Sand bursts up.
You just been served.
You just been served. Sand bursts up from the ground, blinding your opponents. Particles of sand coalesce into one large spear, hardening like titanium as they compact, crushing against each other, forming a weapon in your fist. Hadit and Eshe. An utterance is a simple phrase, and your speaking is faster than any of their actions. What are you doing?
I would like to utilize tier 1 Kiss of Apep, which will infect one of them with a disease that can affect any being. Specifies any.
And I would like to awaken the dead, to pull them down to the ground.
Yes. Eshe, roll your Ren plus your Sekhem, which is 10.
I need more dice.
I think so.
That's not true.
That's 13.
Oof.
You have so many dice. You don't need more.
I mean, I have enough to hand, but I need more than I had in my tray.
Mm-hmm.
So only a minor issue. Eights and up.
Yep.
4 successes.
It affects the first angel. But the disease you infect him with is not any disease. Because when a mummy, when an arisen speaks in utterance, power of the judges take reality and bend it to their will. Your best boy, Sumar, on the ground, covered in that black substance. Part of it comes alive and whips up like a tendril on his back and shoves itself down the throat of Orin, the Angel of War. It leaves Sumar's body completely. It goes down the stomach of this angel as he screams and turns black. His wings, once white, spread, and he screams and makes his way closer to that pillar of light. That same goal you now have. Sumar vomits on the floor, gasping for air. Gorlab, what's up?
I am going to attack these angels, boosting my
Ooh,
strength. Like candy, I'm spending these things.
You're back up to 7 strength.
And my stamina, I'm spending 2.
Well, doesn't it do your stamina and your...
I don't know.
I think it
I will
does.
go with the GM on this.
You spend 1, and it increases your stamina and your strength by 4.
Let's spend 2 to put them both to 10.
All right. You are a pinnacle of power. You give me a roll. Yeah, let's do a roll for initiative. See, now that you're doing combat instead of... Because you've already spoken. Hadit, what utterance or affinity are you going to spit out of that mouth of yours?
Do 10s explode on initiative?
Well, let's say yes. What'd you get?
5. The 10s kept going.
That's great. Okay. Eshe, what did you get for initiative?
Sorry.
Oh, and I'll have Hadit do that as well.
2 successes.
Okay.
Uno for the big boy.
Gotcha. Did you decide on what you're doing with your words, sir? Edit.
Yes, I would like to. I would like to try to awaken all the dead things under the ground.
I hear you.
Akadua, Tufir Biu, Bia Chefu, Dudu Nura Fana Turu. To try to awaken all the dead things and stop the angels, to grab and to grip and to pull on them.
The floor erupts with hands grasping, their feet completely immobilized as the dead burst out of the ground to a degree that the very sand and stone they're standing on breaks apart and they sink into a pit of bodies that are weaving themselves together. The angels are crushing their heads left and right, striking them down, but there are so many, they're tied up. Ben,
Yes.
you had 5 successes.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to physical attacks, you go first.
I take my spear that has materialized from the sandstorm, and I drive it through the heart of one of these pinned down. As if I can pin it, if I can stab both of them with it, I will. But I will just with my 10 strength.
They're actually below you, but yeah.
Oh,
With his mighty hands, the power of literally an antediluvian god, this shaft made of sand, harder than diamond, pierces the back of this angel's skull, severing his spine, and he falls dead and lifeless to the ground. The other angel has priority. Because y'all rolled like shit.
Yeah, he rolled so much better than us.
hey, 8 up is hard.
Oof. Let's see, do I got enough dice? Yes. 1 success. And I need to roll a d4 to find out who I'm targeting. Because fair's fair.
I mean, I am closest, right?
Rosie.
Ah,
Let's take a look at your sheet real quick.
Yarg.
anyone ever call you Rose?
Yes.
And Rosemary and Mary. And there's a variety.
Rosemary and all of those.
Yeah.
This angel's sword, as it's cutting away as many of these lifeless beings as possible, realizes it can't reach any of you. He takes it and throws it at you. However, it reflects off of your skin. Your child's toy. Due to your defense and the weakness in this angel's arms, as he is pulled down, even as he throws it, hampering its own strength. Next up is Eshe. You get to have a physical action.
Yeah. That guy that just tried to attack me. Let's go with Grip of Death again.
You make it sound like it's a Jeopardy category. Let's take
I'll take Grip,
Grip
of Death,
of Death,
too.
Alex.
Ah, the Daily Double.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Um, and is this one of our goal now? I want to double check before I do this. Our goal is to infect that golden shaft of light with the contagion.
That's right.
Well, then I would like to grab the infected angel and toss it into that golden pillar.
It does not resist, as it wants that more than anything. Are you going to be increasing your strength?
Yes.
Spending a pillar point.
Indeedly doos. And I will spend a point of ob. I don't think it matters which.
It does
I
not.
spend, really.
Does not. Your strength is now 6.
Like a child's
Stamina.
strength.
And your dexterity is also 6.
This is the best game.
You want to spend one more pillar point.
Just to be utterly terrifying and make sure we get the job done, sure.
There you
I'll
go.
Strength
Spend a point of
is
ba.
now 10. Stamina is now 10. Your dexterity is now 9. As Eshi's frame thickens like a god, and she takes this angel and throws it at the speed of sound towards this pillar, and it shatters on impact like a bird hitting a glass window
Oh.
and just exploding.
Feathers everywhere.
But there aren't
Celestial
feathers.
chicken.
There aren't feathers
No?
or bone, or it's a paste of black contagion that
Oh.
begins to crawl and infect this pillar of light. Before you know it, pillar is no longer glowing. It has reached the heavens. Chunks of the pillar crack and fall apart from the ground to somewhere deep beyond space, falling with extreme weight down into the earth, crashing into the two cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, leveling the region. And somewhere beyond the stars, a machine that has called itself God breathes its last breath as it becomes something sick and dying. The duat is clear. The river is clean. And so is Sumar,
Ah, thank God.
who
That's the
stands
important part.
unknowing what just happened. But he's surrounded by 3 arisen who've sacrificed the world for those that rule in the beyond.
I'd like to give Sumar. I want to whisper in his ear.
Sir, I was in the duat with you.
I know, and you did so good.
It was heaven, sir. I was
know.
there because of you.
You're
together.
truly blessed.
That
Sumar.
you don't need to get me a birthday present anymore. That was the best.
I have yet but one more present I need to give you. You did so good. And you're the best boy. I can't have that happen again. I can't put you in danger like this again.
I understand.
I'm going to give you a word. And I want you to take that word to Victoria. Do you understand, Sumar?
Yes.
I want you to go to Victoria and tell her Turkish delight.
I will.
And I never want to see you ever again. Because I can't lose you again. You will walk the earth.
Have I wronged you?
No. No, you haven't wronged me. You did quite the opposite, my boy. You deserve to be the legend in your own story.
I will take this part of you that keeps me alive with me always. And I will find this Victoria.
You're a good boy, Sumar.
And you, been a good master.
Survive.
And he walks away from the devastation that will be written about from many perspectives, for many different reasons. The real reason, stranger than fiction. Thank you for joining us for this opening story in the Contagion Chronicle by Onyx Path Publishing with us at Gehenna Gaming. Hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. Players, what do you got to say? What is going on?
Oh, that was great.
That was fantastic.
Mummies.
I'm chuckling at a message from failure to load. I got here too late to get Sumar's description, and in my head, he's a talking dog.
I mean,
He's Mr. Peanut Butter, for real.
you're not too off. Sumar's
I
close
love
to
him
it.
as much as I would love a talking dog.
He is man's best friend,
He
after
is
all.
man's best friend. Mummy the Cursed is available on BackerKit through Onyx Path. It was a funded Kickstarter. It's now currently in art design, I think might be done, and it's currently in layout. So we should be getting the hardcover book sometime in 2021. So stay tuned for it. They come up with BackerKit email updates all the time. If you are interested, you can still back it. I believe it's $50, and there were some stretch goals as well. But great stuff. Mummy the Cursed, fantastic game.
So good.
I love running it. It makes me able to run bonkulous stories with wonderful people like we have here today. I'm hoping everyone here who watched it enjoyed it, including the video on demand, which you can catch all of our videos on demand on our Twitch and our YouTube. Just follow Gehenna Gaming and reach out to us wherever you would find Gehenna Gaming. Signing off with my friends here. Tell us where they could find you.
Well, I mean, you could find me on Gehenna Gaming. Follow that. You can find me on Twitter with hot takes about tabletop industry, but more importantly, follow Gehenna Gaming. Watch what we're doing. There's some really, really cool stuff coming up right around the corner between Virtual HorrorCon, all of our podcasts. Virtual HorrorCon is kind of our biggest focus right now. Virtual HorrorCon 2020 is going to be happening Q1 of 2021. But the announcement and the website's going live sometime this week, so keep an eye out. I'm Mark. That's my name.
You can find him at Marchosius, 5s instead of S's. I'll spell it in the chat.
I am Big Dad. I am Jasper Redding on Twitter. You can find me either at Gehenna Gaming or the Carry and Comfort Studios Twitter, and usually they're not Twitter, their Discord and their Twitch. Check them out this Sunday for the next exciting chapter of Iron City by Night. You can also find me and regular size mom on Rage Across Birmingham, where we play werewolves. A wooski.
A wooski.
The bears, the wolves.
The wolves.
Regular size mom, where can they find you?
You can find me hanging out in the Gehenna Gaming Discord or in the Carry and Comfort Discord. Yeah, watch me be a eco-terrorist hacking werewolf on Rage Across Birmingham. It's really fun. And you can find me on Twitter, regular size mom, at mom_sized. It's, this is just a great community. So if you're not already part of the Discord, you should check it out.
You should. And find us at cool events like PAX, Unplugged, Denise, because that's where we met two of these amazing individuals. Mark was, I think, just hoboing through the neighborhood with a handkerchief on a stick. And we offered him some sandwiches, and he just was here forever.
I'm like the Contagion.
Contagion.
I show up and I'm like a mold.
And he just wants to kill God all the time.
Yeah, I just want to kill God. That's my primary programming.
It's my bread and butter.
And this year, if the vaccine is going the way I think it's going, there may be some live events happening this year, but it's too early to tell. For now, let's focus on Virtual HorrorCon. Let's focus on joining that Gehenna Gaming Discord. Follow us on Twitter at Gehenna Gaming. Subscribe to this Twitch because it helps us do this cool stuff going on all the time. I think, let me see, what's the date today? The 16th? The 9th. The 16th is next Saturday. That's going to be a very special V5 game, V5 Vikings, which both me and Rick are going to be part of. Very, very excited about that. Definitely watch that. Definitely watch the rest of this Contagion Chronicle Saga. We've got a bunch more games coming up with the finale at Virtual HorrorCon. This was fantastic, and I love being a mummy.
And I love running mummy. So I can't wait for the book. Can't wait to possibly make a chronicle sometime, because that would be fun. But yes, I get to play vampire in Dark Ages, which is my favorite setting. I love running Dark Ages too. You can find me at Oops All Setite.
Praise set
on Twitter. Praise set. And Gehenna Gaming. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for more Contagion. Not sure what we have up next, but Geist, Werewolf, Demon, Vampire.
Warhammer Fantasy tomorrow, I believe.
Yes.
At
I do want to
3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I do want to put this little nugget in here. The last game is happening during VHC.
Mm-hmm.
One of these three people who played in this game will play in the last game. Just saying. So you will see likely either Eshe, Gorlab, or Hadit in the final game. Y'all can Thunderdome that and find out who's who. I don't know. This was Nick's big, cool idea for us to do, so that's in his hands. I did Mummy. I'm out. I don't know what to say.
I did Mummy and I'm out, he says. Mummy. I love it.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thanks,
Relic drop.
Faye the Pagan, our friend, from BG by Night, for rating us and for being an amazing community member. We will catch you all next time. Have a great one. Goodbye.
Be good to each other.
Bye.